coming at you live from a couple of stools in the low class studios. This is a feminist and a comedian walk into a bar. I am a comedian. I am Justin Golak. I am sipping on, well, it is St. Patty's Day. So I went ahead and I grabbed my Cleveland Browns pint glass because it is OBJ month. Bill Beckham Jr. to the Browns. It's going to be a great year. But
He gets a whole month.
It starts with a great St. Patrick's Day.
Gets a day.
Just gets a day. OBJ gets a month. And I'm sipping on a Guinness. Nothing too original, but still pretty good.
Are you a big Guinness fan? Or is it just because it's St. Patrick's Day? Or, I mean, obviously because it's St. Patrick's Day, but, like, would you...
I don't know.
Guinness?
That's what I say. I don't know if I'm a Guinness fan.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, though. But I feel like fan is another level. I don't know if I buy it unless I'm specifically thinking about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's an occasion beer.
Yeah, so it doesn't need to be. It doesn't even need to be an occasion like a holiday. Like, it doesn't need to be St. Patty's Day. I'm just saying, like, well, I just get in the mood for a Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually when I'm out, because then I'll just, like, if they have it on tap, I'm like, ooh, a Guinness sounds good. It's a good fall, winter beer. But, like, then that's the thing is, like, I just like stouts and porters in the winter and fall, especially the winter. And now there's just so many good,
I know, I feel like in college.
craft brews that it's like, I really like, I can't think of the one I like, but there's a good oatmeal stout I like.
Yes. I was going to say, in college, like, that was, again, like, fancy dark beer. Like, I didn't, you didn't try other stuff until your mid-20s. You just start drinking craft beer, and you're like, oh, this stuff tastes so good. Like this now. So I, haven't had Guinness since college, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
doesn't compare.
I like it. It's just like, it's like kind of everything. It's kind of everything that wasn't like Budweiser or Miller before, like, the craft beer renaissance was all kind of like a really drinkable representation of their niche. So, like, I mean, Guinness is a good stout. It is like a good beer, but it's really just, it's very drinkable, and so it's a good beer, but it's just like, it's too kind of pricey to be like my Tecate Light or Miller High Life, so I'm never going to just buy it to, like, stock the fridge with. But also, and then, like I said, if I want a stout, like, I probably get like a porter. I just get, like, whatever the seasonal Revolution was, or, whatever, or even like Great Lakes or something. So it's like, it's like kind of like everything in the middle kind of sometimes has a tough time, It's like too kind of bougie when you just want like a 30 rack, and it's kind of too uninspired when you really just want like an instant craft beer.
I always felt that way about Yingling.
Yinling's kind of like that a little bit. Yeah.
I thought that, well, to me, that was like craft beer in college.
But it's kind of that same thing. It's kind of like in the middle. It's a little bit more closer to like a cheap domestic, the way it's priced. And it's got like a little more flavor. So I think that's why a lot of people like Yingling. But
it tastes good. Guinness is just
but it's
so
good.
heavy.
Like, Guinness is good. I feel like Guinness is kind of like, not in type of beer, but just in like marketplace. It's kind of like a Heineken or a Blue Moon. Like, those are all just very drinkable, but not very interesting. But I like it. But drinkability's not bad. Like, I'm not a beer snob at all, so that's why, like, I'm just saying, usually I want just a cheap beer.
Yeah.
Or I want, like, oh, what's that stout you have? Or whatever, so. But to its credit, I don't think this is a knock, because, like, to its credit, it does have its own flavor. So, yeah, every once in a while I want it. It was like maybe a few months ago. It was sometime recently that I brought home like a 4-pack of Guinness, and I'm in the mood for a Guinness. So I got Guinness.
I have a question.
I think we're like going to a party or something.
About Odell.
Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah. So why is everyone so excited about it? Is he? I mean, I know he's very good, but could we have an opportunity to win now? Or just all the excitement?
Yeah, he's very good.
He's just really good.
I think it's one of those things like, so remember when you were a kid?
Yes.
And you didn't find yourself overly attractive, let's say.
Yeah.
You felt kind of a little ugly duckling.
Sure.
Then you feel like you had a bit of a swanning, do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the first time
A swanning.
like a cute boy?
This is my swanning.
Like a boy that seemed out of your league at some previous time, when a cute boy finally talked to you or showed interest in you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening.
Okay.
So he is a very good player. He will improve our team, but it's like he's literally, I would say,
that's such a good
probably the
metaphor.
best the market in football this season.
And
probably. He chose to come to Cleveland to play football in Cleveland.
Why? Why has he said why?
I mean, speculation. I mean, he definitely wanted to leave New York. He was having kind of problems there last season. The team sucks. He's had problems with the organization. So people knew he was probably leaving. Jarvis Landry, bless him. He went to LSU with Odell Beckham, so they're buddies.
Oh, they're buds.
And like I said, they really are just
Browns.
They really are just a team on the rise. So I feel like not only as fans are you excited because you think he could help the team.
Yeah.
He probably thinks like, and if I help the team will be good, and I could be on like at least a playoff. And that's the thing. It's like it's just exciting because like we went 7-9 last season, so we actually had a decent season. Like I said, we've made some other acquisitions that are promising, and everyone in our division is trash. They've been all decimated for one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's like our time. It really just feels like our time to do something. I mean, like I've talked, if we don't make the playoffs next year, you can't frame it as anything but like an abject failure.
Okay.
So that's exciting. And then once you're there, who knows? I mean, that's why football playoffs, it's one game. You know what I mean? And even if you make the wild card, which we hopefully finish better, I mean, what is it? So then you have to win 3 games to get to the Super Bowl, a 4th game to win the Super Bowl. If I'm remember from the wild card, if you get the bye, then it'd be like 3 games, including the Super Bowl. So it's like, it's not like a 7-game series like basketball or baseball, which kind of, the longer a series go, the more that favors the kind of statistically better team. So, yeah, man, it's like once we get there, anything can happen. So the idea, even though, Cleveland fans are crazy, and I feel like part of us, I feel like we indulge that craziness, not in an ironic way, but just having fun with it.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a lot of Browns Super Bowl 2020 tweets. But I don't think it's really not crazy, because the idea of us getting to the playoffs is almost, I would say I'd say we're the odds-on favorite if you went to Vegas. I haven't checked it yet, but I would guess we're the odds-on favorite to win our division.
Wow.
And then we're in the playoffs.
That's exciting.
And then once you're there, you just got to win a few games.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just as simple as that. So yeah. All right. This is now a sports talk show, just so you guys know. I hope that's not. We did 80 episodes, politics and society.
No.
Now 81.4, we're doing hot sports talk. Jackie won't know anything. I will know everything.
I think it's really interesting because just from, I
ugly
love
girl
30 for 30. Well, that was totally relatable, and I understand what you're talking about. Not ugly girl. Boys feel that too, I'm sure. Like, you just change so rapidly in high school that it's like you could look totally different than in a week, and you're getting attention. But no, I don't watch the games. I don't enjoy watching the games, but I love following
That's so weird. I was just thinking about it the other day.
That you guys have been losers for so long, and my dad, I grew up a Browns fan. Like we are Central Ohio people. You never know where they're landing, but we were Cleveland people, so.
Story.
Yeah, totally. So I just thank you for filling me in.
I think everyone that likes sports likes the story.
Right, but I don't.
I think honestly,
I can't appreciate sport.
I think people that don't like sports neglect that part of it. I think.
Yeah.
I feel like I've taken people, even like I feel like I've taken people not interested in sports to. A game. Maybe not like a live game. Maybe like to watch. I don't know. Just some sort of thing where you're watching.
I don't like football.
And I feel like I tell them the story. Just give them because this happened and this happened and then we're doing this and that, and then they're in. And I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's we're all here.
I'm not doing that to you to give you a new thing. I'm that's why I'm here too. We're all here. But I am kind of the opposite in a way. The story part's good, but I just. I was just talking to some guy about something. I think it was just like the NFL, and I don't know. He was just like rattling off a lot of stuff, and like I don't know. Like I think there is like a part of me though too that like it's like I don't really care that much about like like acquisitions and knowing every player on the roster. Like I know most because I'm just watching, so I'm gonna get that info. But like I really do just enjoy watching a game.
Yeah.
And that's why I like watching a game.
I don't understand football. Like I love basketball because I know how to play it. I understand it and it's fast.
Haven't you watched enough football though now with me that you know it better?
I'm also like reading a book while we watch it, so I don't know. I do know it. I do know it better for sure. And it's percentage point more.
Do you want me to introduce you? So
yeah,
you
let me tell share my drink.
All right. With me as always on Sports Talk FM. Well, let me see. What do our call letters be? Yeah, I think we'd be WFAC, feminist and comedian, right?
Oh, is it?
Hey, it's now 1440 WFAC Sports Talk. I'm Justin, the Joke Man,
Justin.
And with me, as always, sipping in on the two mic, that's Jackie, the feminist women. Mandy. Jackie Mantino, you don't drink anymore because you used to drink too much. What are you sipping on tonight?
Tonight. You're so good at it. Okay, so I made, it's because it's St. Patrick's Day, also St. Patrick's Day themed matcha tea, a matcha latte.
Matcha.
Okay, you gotta stop that.
Let's kick it over to the matcha boy in the matcha booth. How you doing there, matcha boy? I'm okay. That sounds like he's doing great.
So matcha, I just bought a bunch of matcha, not knowing that you only need like a teaspoon to make.
So what is matcha? It's basically just green tea, but it's ground up. Leaves? Sounds like
that's not true.
Hooey.
Like I just made up that number. But basically it's supposed to be healthy for you. I think it's fun because it's green.
So what is? So
and I bought it for my smoothies, and I was like, "What do I have this green? I'll make matcha tea."
So you made a matcha latte.
Yeah.
So how does it work?
So I boiled the water, let some tea, a quarter cup of water, let some tea. I had a teaspoon.
But so it's like basically
let it
instant.
Steep in there.
You don't really.
Let it bloom.
So it's not really steeping per se. It's like
it's blooming.
Like it blend. It like what do you say? Dissolves into the water and becomes the drink.
Yeah.
And so that's how you use it in a smoothie. You put it in and blend it. I'm just wondering.
You put it in and blend it when you're doing a smoothie.
And then what kind of flavor does it add? Like green tea, basically.
Yeah, but like really strong. It's very grassy.
Gotcha.
It's very earthy.
Gotcha.
Earthy is a better word for it.
Cool.
Okay.
See,
so then you let the tea bloom, and then you heat up a cup of milk. And after you've given the tea a couple minutes, you pour the tea into the milk, and then heat that up until just about boiling, whisking the whole time.
So it's
basically like, because I don't have a milk frother, like that's how I did it.
You whisk the tea while it's
with the milk
while it's heating up.
Yeah.
You whisk it while the milk's heating, or you pour it in and then whisk the tea.
You pour it in and then it's your latte.
I'm saying you whisk the milk,
mm-hmm.
and you just pour it in your mixture of matcha and hot water.
Yeah. In it too.
Okay. How is it?
It's good.
You've taken some big swings on the show before.
I know and missed.
This
is really good.
Good.
Yeah, this is good. This would be a nice like when I want hot cocoa, but at night I want like a nice hot drink.
Yeah.
Like this would be one that doesn't feel like totally sugar loaded. This would be a good one.
Nice. Sounds good. All right. This is a feminist comedian. Walk into a bar, you can find new episodes and all that good stuff at FemComPod.com. Give us a rate. Give us a subscribe. Give us a review. I kind of said those out of order. Not that there's a specific order. I've never said them in that order. Felt clunky. But it's really all the things. It's those are the things
you got them all in, though.
Got
them all in. Off the list.
So do that. It helps. Then you can always go to lowclass.com. That's lo-class.com. Also,
matcha.
We're getting in some new. I gotta go to the post office tomorrow, Jack. You know I have to go to the post office tomorrow.
Why?
Because I gotta mail out some patron rewards for new patrons to our Patreon page.
Thank you.
So level gets you access to bonus content, which we just posted some last Friday.
Thank you, friends.
But yeah, if you go just even a little bit up the ladder of donation, you get physical goods mailed to you. It's like a gift. It's like getting a gift.
She's going to get so many cool things.
Yeah, so we got new patrons coming in all the time. You should be part of it. Get that bonus content. Get some stuff mailed to you. That's patreon.com/LOclass. No dash on that one. All right, topic 1. Yeah. Did you know we were going to talk about sports? I guess I brought up Odell Beckham. But did you drill down on that because you knew the first topic was sports related?
No, not really.
It's actually super sports related. Kind of just the name of the company. So yeah. I don't know if anyone's heard about this. Now, this is related to a lot that's happened recently, but for some reason, this one has affected people I actually know personally.
Oh, really?
Whereas the ones previously, not so much that I can remember. But basically, here's the headline. Barstool Sports deletes over 61,000 social media posts after content theft controversy. So basically, you know, we had the Fat Jew. It was like the big one, the curation, you know, accounts. Jerry, and that kind of blew up, you know, with their involvement in the whole Fire Festival doc thing / Fire Festival marketing itself. And so Barstool Sports is basically the same thing, but I've seen a lot of...
Is it like an Instagram account?
Barstool is like, they're like a website that covers sports, but they have social media accounts, funny videos and stuff.
Okay.
Like all sports related. So, but I have some friends on like Twitter and stuff post like screenshots of DMs with Barstool Sports basically saying like, hey, this is my video, you didn't credit me or pay me, you need to like take it down or at least credit. One just even said you got to at least credit me, but so yeah,
so they would just take for example, they would take like a comedian's video that they posted on their own Twitter, share it, but like not like in a retweet, just like as if it was their own content or just anyone's content, like it just they picked it from the internet. Here it is, no
and
credit.
Their kind of response is kind of. It's just like it's like a straight up big business response, which is always frustrating. Even though they're not even like some huge company, but it just strikes me as that very like, what could we do? It's like you just do it with like basically their big thing was like, well, we get like 300 to 400 video submissions a day because I guess people maybe submit videos, like say, hey, do you guys want this? Blah blah blah. So maybe that does happen, but they're basically saying they get 3 or 4 submissions a day. So they're like, it's very hard to confirm, you know, ownership.
They just post them online. They just go up immediately.
Yeah. Okay. But then they monetize like, you know, through. They basically like so they put like what do they call it, like bumper ads on the front of the videos, and they get money even off Instagram. So yeah, they were basically saying like, yeah, we get 300 or 400 submissions a day.
So they're making their money off the videos because
paying. Wow. So basically,
that's fucked up.
So basically, like they're like, we get 300 or 400 submissions a day. It's very hard to validate ownership. If someone emails this video and says they're the owner, like it's very hard to confirm that, but we always try to. And it's like always that thing of like, it's just like it would just be like robbing a bank and be like, I tried very hard about robbing a bank, I really did, but then I just had to. It's like, okay, well you can't do it. So you're making money off the videos. Hire another person. Post less videos. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like because
don't you hate when the wrong people are like, we don't need to apologize?
Not even, yeah, but it's not even like I don't even want an apology because it's a legal thing. But it's just it's weird that you think that's an okay excuse of like it's pretty hard. It's like okay, well sometimes stuff's hard. Like it doesn't mean you just then do it. You fucking scum buckets. But like yeah, I guess you know what? That's funny you bring that up because that's kind of my big thing. Kind of what I wanted to like maybe address this, and you can just kind of sound off if you have any general opinions on, you know, plagiarism on social media, which seems to be like a big thing. But like the thing that just weirds me out now, they mentioned something in the article that Twitter has some sort of, you know, just like YouTube or anything else, but I'm sure YouTube's more scrutinized because it's a purely video-based platform, whereas Twitter, you know, it's not primarily for that. But they basically say Twitter has some sort of copyright policy where if you know, just like YouTube, right, you get flagged, and if you get flagged too many times, you can be permanently banned. And so basically, a lot of people are speculating that's why they removed all these posts. It wasn't really out of
moral
guilt,
or ethical.
right? It was just like, well, we don't want to get flagged, so let's just be very broad with like taking anything that even could be copyright, take it all down, because if we get flagged, we could get banned, and then like that would obviously hurt our bottom line.
And why did this become news? Did something like had this been going on for a while, or was
I
there
think
like
again, just because again, I
it?
think like Fat Jew, and then it kind of cooled, and then that kind of sustained, and I think this is just. Again, I've just seen a barrage of people posting screenshots and just personal stories about how they were fucked over by Barstool Sports when they had their content stolen.
Yeah.
So I think
I remember
it's built, and now it's just like kind of sustaining. So no, there wasn't any like big Barstool Sports story. It just was like the next one that kind of like had some sustained Twitter heat, and it's kind of part of this like bigger thing. So just real quick, so I'm just trying to say, like, even though they do, it seems like Twitter has this copyright that they seem to enforce occasionally, but it doesn't seem like they do it that much.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating because as a creator, now I haven't been talented enough to have anything ripped off by any of these three sites, which I guess makes me feel a little bad about myself. but you know what I mean? Like, I post videos all the time with the assumption that I actually did have, even at my level, this is different, but I don't know. It's probably, I don't even know if I should tell the story just because it's not because it's scandalous. It's just non sequitur. But I have had someone filmed like a whole 30-minute set of mine and like put it on YouTube, just like on their channel.
Oh, and you made a claim.
Yeah, I just made a claim, and so they took it down. Like YouTube like took it down. I was like, what are you doing? Why do you think that's okay? Anyways, but this is different. So, like I said, I feel like I took us off on a path and I regret it. But, but so basically, like, but it's still something I feel like could affect me. Like, it feels like something that I'm kind of passionate about because it's.
I mean, honestly, all of us, right?
All of us, even you,
writers,
even anybody.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird because. We have like the Twitter guy and his little lawyer friend on the Joe Rogan podcast. We have all this kind of like new heat about like, what's hate speech and is hate speech free
what's
speech?
What's the lawyer
and like,
guy on Joe Rogan?
Sorry. Just Jack from Twitter, and he had this lawyer lady that worked. She was like the content lawyer for Twitter. I'm just saying there's been this new big discussion. I mean, again, it's been ongoing. No, not around this. That's my point. On this, I'm saying there's been a new discussion. Well, again, it's like an ongoing discussion, but there's been this like kind of feel like spike of discussion about what is Twitter's, and again, I'm saying Twitter, but social media, Facebook, Instagram. What is their responsibility to ban people and to monitor content, take down content, all in the speech, meaning like hate speech, threatening speech, doxing, and then like this thing of like, are certain political stances more harshly banned than others? Is the left targeted more than the right? And to me, that's an interesting-ish discussion, and it needs to be had. Like, and what's their responsibility, both to protect people, but also what's their responsibility to as a private company to honor free speech, and should they be a private company when they are this part of the discussion? The President of the United States uses Twitter. Is that a private company now when that's like, it's the new mouthpiece to the world? I don't know.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's like, there is kind of like, it's even outside of Twitter, just in the world at large, hate speech and that kind of speech in general, it's definitely because of the First Amendment in the public sector as opposed to like a private company like Twitter, which is the big. There's still gray area. There's still fire in a crowded theater, right? There's still clearly limits to what you can say, and it's constantly fought. But there's clearly limits, but they're very vague, and they kind of don't come up a lot. Siding on free speech, there's limits, but it's vague for like political views and hate speech and all that kind of, and threatening what's a threat and what's your opinion and all that shit. But there is clear, legally defined, very, very succinct and obvious and precedent holding plagiarism laws. So to me, it's just weird that And again, like, I don't really give a shit about him, but it's just weird that, like, a Milo Yiannopoulos is banned for life.
Yeah.
But a Barstool Sports, who's kind of admitting via deletion of 61,000 tweets that they've committed 61,000 instances of plagiarism, that they're going to get passed over, get a slap on the wrist, get whatever, when it seems like, all right, well, it seems like you're a criminal account. You know what I mean? Like, so you should be taken down permanently. Like, like, there's clearly laws in place for plagiarism, whereas the laws for speech are very vague, you know, often contested, and like usually kind of land way more lenient than how Twitter enforces their kind of speech regulations on their platform. But now you have this hard thing, plagiarism, that's clearly defined in the law. They're clearly doing it, because this isn't even like stealing a thought.
Plagiarism is different from copyright.
Or copyright, whatever you want to say. You know, it's kind of like libel and slander. I don't know if this is copyright or plagiarism. It's definitely like,
I don't think they know either.
It's a clear civil manner, though. Yeah. Like, they clearly have done something clearly illegal, even if it's civilly wrong. You know. So it's just weird.
At the very least, ethically.
It's just weird to me that there's a debate. I get the debate over hate speech and what you can say, what you can't say, and how much the First Amendment applies to private company. I get that discussion. There's a lot of lines, and most of them are gray and blurry, so we should talk about this. To me, we're talking about this. To me, like, if you get more than a couple copyright infringement claims, like, you should be taken down. I don't care if you're a major, you know, sports website, or, you know, you're the Fat Jew, or you're an influencer,
especially
whatever you are, you're a marketing company. I don't care. Yeah.
How blatant the plagiarism is. You know, like, the Fat Jew got in so much trouble, like, was that 3 years ago? Because he, like, the example I remember is someone tweeted, like, the joke and then had a picture, and then, like, the very next day on Instagram, the Fat Jew posted this same picture in the exact same language.
But I guess that's the point, is like,
it's so obvious.
But I guess that's the point. You say he got in so much trouble. He got called out, but did he get in trouble?
I don't know.
As far as I know, he is on all forms of social media and really never took a major break from any of them, and is making a ton of money off them. So that's my point. Even if
he does more than, like, he'll say regram now and, like,
but
credit the
but
person,
also
but
I feel like he probably avoids it a little less. But the fact is, it's like, the only reason you have 1 billion followers is because of your plagiarism. Yeah. So even if you're like, well, I just do original content now, it's like, well, you wouldn't be here. No one would know who you are. So you're still profiting in perpetuity off your crimes. I just think to me, again, it's like another thing. It's like, someone does something maybe transphobic, fire them from their dentist job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like someone does something socially uncouth, and you want to remove their livelihood. Yeah. Like, we've done that many times, or at least there's been a call for it many times. But here it's like, oh, you've developed your livelihood through crime, and we can't discuss taking away your livelihood? To me, the Fat Jew should not be allowed to make money off social media, because the only reason he's able to make money off social media is because he elevated himself through crimes, through copyright infringement, through plagiarism, whatever you want to call it.
I think this highlights the fact that a lot of people don't see what you're doing on Twitter as something to be protected. Like, it's just, you're just talking, you just make a joke. And it's like, as an artist, you understand, like, no, that is my work. You know, that is something.
But it's because someone's profiting off it. Right. So it's like, it couldn't be even clearer that it has value, because someone's making money off it.
And especially when you are someone who also profits off of your joke.
I'm just saying, it's weird to me because, again, unlike hate speech, laws on the books that you could just say, like, if you don't even have to have your own Twitter policy if you work Twitter. You just be like, if you break the laws in regards to copyright, trademark, or plagiarism, just as outlined in the U.S. law, then we will ban your account permanently and forever, because you shouldn't be allowed to profiting off other people's stuff. And even if you stop doing it, if you use it to get to a point you can profit off your own stuff, that's still ill-gotten gains. You shouldn't be allowed to make money off it. You're banned from the platform for life.
Well, and I think there's so many cases of this too in visual art where people will post like a little like sketch drawing on their Instagram, and then someone will take it and make it theirs, or like sort of redraw it, but it's the exact same illustration. The example I remember is someone in our old hometown like had drawn this like astronaut, and then one of the Hanson brothers like basically looked like he traced it and then like posted it on his Instagram, and like people were like, "You're so talented," and it was like, is that copyright infringement? Like you basically you redid it, but like it was.
But what's funny
is
person. Like,
so it brings up all of these
probably
questions.
Could it'd probably be hard to prove that, especially if it was like a simple design. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's not the same.
Sure.
I'm just saying
it's like a line drawing.
I guess I'm just saying like that also does seem bad, but a little harder to prove.
Oh yeah.
What we're talking about
worse.
is like simple and obvious to prove, and still leave it. They're not banned for life. Again, like you allowed to again. We live in a society where we constantly someone and we talk about removing their ability to earn in the near and medium and maybe long-term future. Like, we just take away people's livings. Like, just no questions asked. It's just weird that we have this thing where people are directly making...
it's unfair.
Well, it's not even unfair. It's just I don't get it. Because now we have someone who's directly linked to the crime. And not only is that crime not enforced by social media that has no problem kicking people off their platform, they do it every day, but also, like, no one's talking about removing their ability to earn. When, like I said, a lot of times it's like, again, it's like Cecil the Lion. It's like, oh, you kill lions, you shouldn't be allowed to be a dentist. And it's like those two aren't related. Whereas this is directly related. Like, oh, you steal content? Well, you shouldn't be allowed to make money off content then.
Do you think it's because are, probably a big revenue generator or potential revenue generator
almost 100%
for Twitter,
exact.
And is an individual person?
And that's why, like, honestly, I would love to see. When
under the bus.
we're talking 61,000 posts and these kind of numbers, and now we're getting like multiple plaintiffs, like your Fuck Jerry's, your Fat Jews, your Barstool Sports. I would love to see sometime in the next year or two, like, class action lawsuit from all people against Barstool Sports, against Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, because that is the only reason they don't give a shit, is because Milo makes money by just tweeting out words, and then people like him, and then they go to his live show, and that's how he makes money. So as soon as he trips up and they can get social cachet by banning him, they ban him. But when Barstool Sports makes money off the ad, Twitter also makes money off the ads. So like, we don't care how the fuck money's flowing as long as ads are getting showed and people are watching them before they're done video. So to me, to me, that is more evil corporate complacency. That's standard since the beginning of time corporate evil shit. More so than like, my friend hashtagged the wrong thing and he got banned. Twitter is oppressive. It's like, yeah, again, we can have that conversation. I think there are issues with banning and what gets banned and why it gets banned, and like kind of what Twitter is in terms of like, is it really that private when it's so all encompassing? I think those are debates to be had. But I think this is just basic bold-faced corporate, oligarchyism of just like, what's good for us is good for everybody, and we don't care who gets fucked as long as it's not us. And I think that's what you're seeing. Like, they don't give a fuck about independent artists.
Yeah.
And they don't really give a fuck about Barstool Sports, but yeah, they're not going to ban a revenue generator, even if they're coming by that revenue criminally. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a shit. It's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. Again, that like someone can get banned for what they, which probably wouldn't be a crime outside the platform, but then someone commits a clear violation of law, and it's like, oh, we will look into the matter. It's like, just ban them. Just ban them. So I don't know. I hope people start getting sued, because to me it just seems like
class action suit's a really great idea. Lots of people who have the evidence too. They have the screenshots. Cause, it's infuriating. You would have to be so pissed and so many people have complained.
Right.
Have records of the complaint not being addressed,
and
or
to me, this is one of those things.
Didn't one of the comedians like person's tried to like sell her stuff?
Yeah,
like,
there's tons of that. You know, and I read one story about a girl called them out, like, hey, that's my thing. And they're like, oh, we can send you a $25. They wanted to send her like a $25 gift card to their store. Like the Barstool Sports online store. And she was like, no. So I don't know. It's just,
that's crazy.
It's just really infuriating because you know what it really, and this
it
is
just shows how much they do not care.
I know this is like very meta, but like we're kind of just like connecting like what I perceive kind of like wrong in the world just on a priorities basis. It's like I was just talking with some friends about like, you know, 2020 presidential candidates and all that shit and just like voting trends and like what we were thinking, blah, blah, blah. And I told them that like I'm just really excited about what I perceive to be a move towards economic leftism in the Democratic Party as opposed to social leftism, because I feel like that empowers people at such a level that the kind of social inequality tempers, and to, you know, make sure every Applebee's has a transgender bathroom for like the one transgender person that comes in there like once a year every 5 years. I'd rather just make sure all transgender person and all other transgender people have like a living wage and health care, because then they can probably empower themselves to create the change they need, or just, it's just like, you know, it's just like, I just care. I'd rather just elevate people through like economically social policies than like worry about like these little socially based only fights. And so I kind of like, I feel like the same way about this. I feel like we should really just like not take a break, but just kind of shift the focus away from like who's getting banned from hashtagging what and having what political views, and like start going after this stuff on social media, because it's like then we will like empower these like, you know, low level content creators, and then that'll, you know, that really will like shift, you know, economic freedom to like independent artists you know, away from these like new media conglomerates. I mean, that's what Fuck Jerry and the Fat Jew and Barstool Sports, I mean, that's what they are. They're really just like baby Viacoms, or at least baby ESPNs and TNTs or whatever. Like, you know, like they've gone from Twitter accounts like full on, you know, like, I mean, like, even though
they said they make that same old corporate argument too of like, well, I thought of it first, and I was the one who, you know, the Fat Jew is like, I'm the one who made it huge. Like, I'm the one who thought of this like branding, content, marketing strategy. Like that's my property. It's like, well, you can't pick other people's content, do that. But they make those arguments, and it's like, it's the same thing as like, well, you shouldn't interfere because we are the geniuses who made this.
I guess
look how much good we're doing.
And that's, I guess it just, to me, it kind of relates. It's just like, I'm just no longer really that interested. Not that I don't care, but I just don't, I'm not triaging, banning the white supremacist who has like a white nationalist podcast that has like 5,000. Like, I don't care that much, because to me, it's more empowering to get these fucking snakes off the platform and start helping these like independent creators who I'm sure are men, women, people of color, and all that. I'd rather, you know, the $200, even if it's only a month, then it all funneling upwards to this Barstool organization, and these people starve. And then, you know, like I said, we ban some hunter with a gross picture, and we think we're like doing the left work. And it's like, I don't think so. I like not enough.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's a reprioritizing. Yeah.
And
who can we help in greater numbers?
I think this should be the story of the moment. Is content copying, content curators on social media. Like, and here's the thing: I'm sure this is happening at lower levels too. I'm sure there's people making less money, but still, again, funneling all the money to them from, you know, from social media accounts. I'm sure this is getting copied because it works. And to me, that's when suing seems not egregious and not, you know, just punitive, even though punitive is, I guess, a part of civil court system, that word. But, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem malicious, because, you know, like we always get accused in a happy culture. But to me, suing is good when it nets a positive change. And I think if you sue these people and you win, and especially if you are able to involve the social media platforms themselves, which I think you should, and I think is fair. Like no one's gonna really try to do this anymore because it won't be worth the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And if the social media companies are involved at all, like they'll crack down on it because it's not worth the risk to them. Like it's not, at minimum it's not worth the headache. At maximum it's not worth the risk. So, I mean, to me, this is a way suing isn't just like, just malicious. To me, this is suing to saying this is a crime and you'll have to pay, and people will be like, all right, they're actually looking at this crime now. We can't be doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I hope that happens, and I'm excited for it. Can move on.
No, I just think it's interesting in like future terms too, as far as how work is changing, how we make money is changing, and individually, I just think the fact that it's of the moment sort of proves that, not tangibly, but I think it is linked to the fact that culturally we don't really respect art or artists or people making this content, right? And so I can just hear like, well, you funny joke on Twitter, like people are gonna retweet or people will, if someone told a joke and acted like it was theirs, are they copyright? And it's like it's very different. It's very different when something like a Barstool Sports takes it and makes millions off of lots of people's work. It's stealing. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that those are things that we need to protect now, because that's only going to keep not just funny people or writers, like that's going to be the commodities that we sort of trade in, are these not opinions, but videos. Do you know what I'm saying? But just like things with our mind and not so much our tangible. So,
yeah.
All right. Topic 2. Ready for it? Okay. Tens of thousands of students across the world. Skip school on Friday.
Bad kids.
So they're high school students. Get a job. They skip school on Friday to take to the streets and protest at their government's failures to take sufficient action against global warming. The coordinated school strikes held from the South Pacific to the edge of the Arctic Circle, and the big one was in America, was in San Francisco.
Okay.
Were inspired by a 16-year-old Swedish activist, Greta Thunberg, who began holding solitary sessions outside the Swedish parliament last year. So, talk about the protests, because we've already talked a lot about protesting on this podcast, but I'm really interested in your thoughts on how the conversation around climate change is taking. I just was sort of surprised to see that. It's exciting. I think it's really cool they're talking about climate change. I think that is a huge issue, but I thought it kind of came out of left field to be protesting about it, but it's cool, and it reminded me of one of the 2020 Democratic nominees running for president is a guy, the Washington State Governor, Jay Inslee, who is running completely on, his platform is solely about climate change. And his argument is that and it's a good one, that climate change affects all these other social issues, and economically we can create what you're talking about, creating this more economic growth or sustainability just in a different way. And I think climate change is related to immigration. Like these are all questions that are going to keep, as people have to move from where they're living, we're going to get even more congested. There's going to be even more movement. I think it's a reproductive rights sort of talk. Like I'm always like, I want a tax break for not having a child because of what I am, not having one less kid, you save so much carbon or, your footprint is going to be way less.
I've always said, I don't think you need to incentivize people to not have children. We're at that level of crisis, right. And I'm not that much. I don't like anybody that's like I'm an atheist, but I fucking hate the like evangelical atheist, And the same thing, like I hate the just cuntily childrenless people. They're just like, oh, come on. I don't want kids. Probably, maybe we'll talk about that off air. But if we don't end up having a kid, it's that's cool. It's something I don't want or need or whatever. But I'm not aggressively anti you having a kid. But I do think, like you said, think we got to a point like where we need to stop incentivizing having children.
Oh.
We don't even have to incentivize not having children to like, yeah.
And it's not even an issue of incentivization. It's more like, I don't know if that's a word, but where culturally I don't think we so much shame people who don't have children, but yeah, there is no like financial gain or like reward for making that choice. And I think that that's a bet. I mean, you can't tell people to stop having kids, but like anyway, what I wanted to talk.
It should be harder to have a child. Like, not saying like.
I know what you mean. I want to talk about Jay Inslee and that he is running on this platform, and a lot of pundits I've heard talk about are like, yeah, that might be great for the left. Like he could get a lot of voters who will vote for him in the primary on this and like really stand, especially if he makes a good. It does touch everything, and actually, it's a really good way to like, I don't know, Trojan horse other issues like reproductive rights for women across the world is related to climate change. You know, like, I think they can really build a good case for it. But the pundits are like, there's no way people on the right are going to vote for a guy whose only platform is about climate change. So I'm just wondering what how you're thinking of it, and like if you would vote for someone based strictly on like a single platform issue.
Only healthcare. Yeah,
only healthcare. Okay.
I honestly like. I give a shit about climate change in that I think it is a real thing, and I think it is.
Sad you have to say that.
Is kind of imminently disastrous. I think that 10-year thing feels a little pressury, like a little
of the Green New Deal, or what 10 years?
No, you remember that study that said like in 10 years things, or what did they say in 2030? I don't know. Do you remember?
Well, here's the thing.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, where like we are the first generation to feel its major effects, and we're the last generation who can like drastically change its progression.
I don't think it's like I think it should be prioritized, like, because we have to act soon. And I think it's obviously like a global problem, but we can even just talk national. It's clearly a national problem. And it affects everything and everybody. So, yeah, it has to be. But I feel like it's kind of, I guess here's the reason I don't give a shit about it in terms of, like, issues.
Okay.
I feel like it's been an issue of every Democratic candidate, even the real milquetoast centrist ones. I feel I've talked about climate change and have done something. I mean, even Obama is pretty like boringly not left. It's pretty centrist or corporatist rightist. Like, you know, like a lot of corporatism in Obama's policies. There's a lot of warmongering in his policies. Like, he kind of swayed from the left a lot. We got this dog shit program with his name on it, you know, that's pretty much still involves the private sector fully. But even he, you know, made investments towards. I'm worried about climate change, the issue. I'm not worried about climate change, the part of a world. Meaning, like, healthcare is the most important issue to me because I think it's fucking ridiculous that in 2020 we still have presidential candidates on the Democratic side. They're like, I don't know, maybe, or like they throw out these real bullshit plans about just like lowering the Medicare age to 50, or like doing some revamp of Obamacare. Like, if you're not talking Medicare for all, land, you know, set of train tracks and die, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? So, like, that's my thing. I don't think any of these people that are running, even the worst of them, even the most centrist of them, I don't think any of them are not talking about climate change. So I guess, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I guess I just think it's interesting that he is making that his single issue. And that idea just seems interesting to me, that it's not about him as, I mean, Beto O'Rourke just announced his thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's pro-Obama. Like, it's all about him and, like, who he is and the, like, appeal of him. And, oh, he's going to take all the cool votes away from Bernie. And, like, I guess I like that this guy is just running on this one issue platform that has, you know, octopus tentacles in every other issue.
I think the thing that's weird about it, the thing I don't understand, like, you have Andrew Yang, right? He's running on one.
Suffocating on plastic, octopus tentacles.
So you have like an Andrew Yang, right? Andrew Yang is running on one issue primarily. Again, no
Yeah,
one's running on one
for
issue.
sure.
That's even just a ridiculous thing to say.
Well, I'm
But
not.
I
I
understand.
wasn't saying that.
I'm
I
saying
meant.
I was mean if he said that he's being ridiculous. I don't know if that was his exact quote or if he was just saying this is my main issue. But like Andrew Yang has like his main issue is UBI, right? Universal Basic Income, and like other candidates have touched on it, but he's the one that's like, I'm going to do this. This is important. We need to talk about this. And no one else really is to great extent. And no one else is pushing it to the front. So is he going to become president? Probably not. But like, it's still an interesting thing for someone to do. So
But
like, if you asked me like, is it interesting that someone would put UBI as like their, primary platform issue? I'm like, yeah, that is interesting. But when you're like, when someone running for the Democratic nominee or any kind of Democratic seat in 2020 or 2019 or whatever, if you're saying like climate change is going to be my main issue, I'm like, I think it's like everyone's issue. So I just like, I don't know. I don't see how you're separating yourself
yeah,
from the
it's
pack.
everyone's issue, but like this is okay. So I guess what
How's
I'm
he
interested
separating
in
himself?
though is like you always say that
Yeah.
the presidency is like a dumb job. They don't do anything. Not just you. Like that's sort of how we feel of like what are they doing? Right? And so I think having I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, right? Of like if you had this one thing that you were going to really focus on because you're a president and like you can't really get much done anyway, like, and this is the one thing you want to contribute and like spend a lot of time and energy, renewable energy on. I think I don't know. I think it's an interesting way to run. Also, though,
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like, I guess you could argue like, well, some candidates some candidates aren't talking about it like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could say that maybe some candidates aren't talking about it as much as him, but I guess I still just don't get it, and I find it dumb. I just find it really dumb because it's like he's like, I'm gonna be the candidate talking about climate change. And it's like, dude, every Democrat's talking about climate change, like universal basic income, like free college, Medicare, like these are things that not every Democratic candidate's talking about. So if you pick one of those and run on it, then it's like, then you set yourself apart.
That's why Andrew Yang is more interesting with the universal.
I think as far as like an underdog guy,
yeah,
Andrew Yang's more interesting because he picked kind of a weird thing that makes sense and has some like crossover appeal. Like it's a very lefty idea, but it's going to be most appealing to fucking most likely right-wing middle America truck drivers who are about to lose their job.
Do you feel like this is...
So I think as an underdog, that's an interesting pick. I think for a more front runner like a Bernie, who's like Medicare with a kind of side dish of like free college, like that's interesting because you have even like an Elizabeth Warren, I feel, being very wishy-washy on Medicare for all. So like he's really like she's pretty progressive, but he's even distinguishing himself from her, and especially from a Booker and a Kamala Harris and all those. So he's setting himself apart. On the top end, you have Andrew Yang kind of being like, I'm the weirdo, but I'm setting myself apart. And now you have a guy that everyone has that view that I guarantee climate change is at least in the top 3 of every single Democratic candidate. And he's like, I'm the climate change guy. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Everyone's the climate change person.
Well, he has like decades of working on climate
like
change.
He'd be better off saying like, I'm the gun control guy. I will have the toughest gun regulations in the world.
Boy.
Like he'd be better off doing that.
I don't know. I'm into it. I do think though this is
I'm
also
into climate it's just weird because
this is also I think
I got like an analogy because I feel like you're kind of like I know you're not missing the point, but I just think it's weird that you like this. I guess I just don't understand. It's just like if I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just like it's like if it's I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like if a sewage factory was like, hey, we make burgers now. And it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to McDonald's. They've been doing burgers forever and they're a restaurant. They're like, but I'm making it the focus of my sewage treatment plant, burgers. You know, it's just weird to me. Like he's basically saying like, hey, I'll give you the thing you can get from literally anyone else in the field that also has other things they're focusing on that would probably help you in the more immediate, and they actually have a chance of winning, and you know them, and they're just better candidates to vote for.
Do you think, though,
I don't get
maybe
it.
it's like not even, I mean, I don't think this guy thinks he can win, and neither does Andrew Yang, but it is like that Bernie effect where you want to push these lefty ideas to the front, like free college, like the healthcare discussion. Our conversation about it has completely changed because of Bernie. And so I feel like there's very strategic moves going on in as far as the candidates with like, yeah, I don't think I will be president, but like I have an opportunity here to like talk a lot about universal basic income or climate change and like what we could actually do to like make solve a lot of problems under this one umbrella mission, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it at all.
Is it because it's climate change? Yeah, just that other people.
It's like if we get a Democrat, we're going to address climate change. Like again, like I'm saying, like I'm not saying climate change isn't important.
Sure.
I'm just saying like if we get like here's the thing: if we get Kamala Harris, if we get Bernie Sanders, climate change will be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
If we get Kamala
We just
Harris,
need a Democrat.
we're going to all be dying of cancer while black kids continue to get shot by police. If Bernie Sanders is president, those things might not happen, or they'll happen there'll be less happenings of it. That's obviously my opinion, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's obviously like a huge gap, but whatever Democratic candidate you pull and you set next to each other, you can pretty confidently say something, at least something, will be done to better climate change. But there's a lot of other issues where you can not necessarily be certain you're going to get everything the same from the people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just weird to me that he'd pick that issue. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think he picked that issue because
it's so 1992 though. It's like 1992.
Oh, but Justin, this is still something we're gonna have to deal with.
But my point is,
like, very urgent.
in 1992, if you ran on climate change, you were a Green Party third party wacko who, ate trees and drove bicycles. Like, you were a weirdo if you ran on climate change in 1992. Starting in like 2012, if you ran on climate change, you were a centrist Democrat. You know what I mean? So it's just weird when you literally have people like universal basic income, like free college, Medicare, raise the minimum wage. Like all these things that are so left and so progressive that you're actually getting pushback within your party, and then you have this doofus come in and be like, and the environment. And it's like, bitch, we've been doing the environment for a decade. What are you talking about? You just sound retarded. Like I just don't get it.
Okay.
Like it just sounds weird. Like it's like that the idea climate change is just like it's not an out there issue, even for centrist left people. So I think the idea of putting it again, it's like we're talking candidacy. So again, this isn't an argument about its importance as an issue in the world. I agree with that fully. I just think as a campaign strategy, it's just like borderline psychotic and probably one of the most uninformed things I've ever heard. Just like one of the most just tone deaf things I've ever heard. It just seems like, okay, cool, good for you, dude. I wish I had a better analogy than that burger sewage plant one.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of get it.
I kind of get it. You need a little more time with it maybe, but I got you.
Cool. All right. Do you want to do topic 3?
Yes.
All right. How we doing on time? Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Good talk. I feel like annoyed at me.
Oh no,
because you liked it and I didn't.
No,
like
I'm not annoyed. I'm annoyed that you like.
I also think it's a really. I think you're better off I think you're better off voting for good radical leftist candidates
Here's
to
the
get
thing.
your body rights and get all that stuff. I think the idea that this doofus will get you that stuff through the octopus of climate change.
I'm like, I am not. I'm just annoyed that you're like getting so like aggressive about it, where it's like I just wanted to talk about it, like
right.
because I feel like also
I feel like you like this guy
because I
feel like you want to fuck this guy. And that's why
you're jealous. Well, no, I guess I get frustrated with even my go-to news sources don't give a lot of time to other candidates, and so I'm like trying to just go seek them out myself and learn about them. And he's been on my radar recently because of the Green New Deal and his writing about it and writing about clean energy and how that can create jobs. And then this March happened, and I'm like, okay, I'm willing to like read more about it, just like how could this be something that would translate?
No.
But so I'm just always I think though that, okay.
Because even if you think of like an AOC, right, doing the Green New Deal, I mean, she ran on so much other stuff.
Right, totally.
And is still doing this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, it's not, she wasn't the climate change environment candidate, but she clearly is still making big moves towards it because that's just what you do now. Like, to me, that's as ingrained in being a Democrat, even, again, like a centrist neoliberal one, as... I mean, again, for the most part, but some of your candidates don't even do this. But I'd say for the most part, like being pro-choice, being pro-environment, being not racist. Like things like that. Yeah. Like it's so at that level now that it's like, I think the fight's over. So, and to me, that's the kind of season we're in now. We're in the season of the primary. I mean, obviously that's still a year away, but I'm saying like, we're a primary country now. Like it's the closest we're going to get to a more fair election.
Yeah.
It's our best kind of quick fix. It's our best jerry rig to the two-party system. It's like, all right, well, I know we'll only have two choices in the end, but at least I maybe have a chance to get a little left to center guy in the primary. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if he was running against Donald Trump or even goddamn Mitt Romney, sure, sounds like a sweet guy with a cool idea. But I'm just saying, when he's running against like a Bernie Sanders or a Tulsi Gabbard, I'm like, they're both going to do that, and they got way better ideas about other stuff like fucking war and Medicare and all that shit. So
sure. Yeah.
You can kind of go kick rocks, my man, in a national park every other Democratic candidate will try to save.
Just like, or like lead. I was just thinking, like, he probably doesn't even think he's going to be president, but could lead the next, like
but
he's setting
himself up.
Again,
that's what's hilarious. It's like, again, I like the Bernie thing from like last election cycle where it was like he didn't get the nomination, but he really pushed the conversation to the left.
Yeah.
And it's like, what conversation is this guy starting? A conversation that I feel, at least on the left, was settled decades ago. At least a decade ago.
I mean, the conversation to put this like the most urgent issue. I think that's a new thing.
I think it's the most urgent for every presidential candidate on the left, in so far as they will address it in their first 4 years in office, no matter what. Maybe it won't be the first year, maybe they'll have to wait till the second, but it'll get addressed. And I know there's urgency, so 1 year is better than 2 years, but I don't see you having. I think things like the Green New Deal, clean energy, these kind of international agreements. If we get a Democratic president in 2020. Those things will get signed. Those things will get put in place. Like, we'll start making steps. And, we'll see if we can, survive into our 60s. Without the world catching on fire. All right. So, headline. I just like reading the headline.
Oh, God.
Not saying in life. I'm just saying to start the topic.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm trying to summarize the headline. I'm like, well, I guess the headline's already
the summary.
So I should read the headline full stop, and then summarize the article.
Summarizing headline as well.
So topic 3: Burger King is taking on McDonald's and Starbucks with a new $5 a month coffee subscription. So apparently, for $5 a month, I forgot what do you remember what the article said? Is it unlimited coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. Excuse me.
Oh, no. Promising coffee every day for $5 a month. So not unlimited.
But once a day. I guess that's what I meant by unlimited. So once a day you get a cup of coffee. It says...
Yeah, well, don't say that. Coffee drinkers will be there constantly if you say unlimited.
Well, so I guess if you went every day, it'd be like 29 cents a day. Or 29 cents a cup.
No, that was just in March, the remainder of March. Based from this article. But so, I mean...
Do you want to just take over this topic?
You're doing it wrong.
I just feel like if
this
was
doing
you,
wrong facts.
micromanage much.
Listen,
you don't need to mansplain me about coffee, Java
First
Joe.
Of all, I don't use that word. And second of all, you don't interrupt me to fix my facts for our listeners. You interrupt me to say something stupid and do a dumb voice. I hate you.
Oh man, I do that to you so often in real life. It is amazing this marriage is still intact.
For a lot of reasons.
So basically, who gives a shit? You know, this is the fun topic, so we're not even going to talk about this. So like, let's just.
We don't want to do the math.
So Burger King is offering a subscription for you. So basically, you give a set amount of money and you get a certain amount of stuff semi-unlimitedly, which is the new thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it started with your streaming services, but then you had Movie Pass. Movie Pass is failing, but everything's doing a Movie Pass kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like subscription services. That's how everyone wants it. They're just like, I don't want to think about it when I go there. I want to kick it out at the start of each month, and then I just want to go there when I go there. I want to get stuff when I want stuff. I want bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
So
I would
now that
if I was still drinking coffee and passed a Burger King every day on the way to work, I would get this. I would.
Well, and that moves on to the real point of the topic. Why it doesn't really matter the specifics of the Burger King deal, because the question is, if you could have any place, it doesn't need to be food, but that's kind of what I thought of because I'm fat. If you could have anything in this great, great world, have a subscription service where you just pay a set amount a month and then you go there and get your shit, what would it be?
Yeah. Well, movies, first of all, I want Movie Pass to come back, and they do it right, and it works every time, and the app doesn't poop out on us.
Well, I think that time has come and gone.
My idea is for because when I think of subscription service, I also think of like the like Stitch Fix and Blue Apron and like where they mail you stuff.
I don't like that.
Well,
is that already your idea, though? Did I stomp on your idea?
No.
God.
Finish your stupid Guinness. I like it. You can't see my mouth, so you don't know what I'm going to say.
I don't read your mouth. I just know what you're going to say.
I am not that predictable. You are reading my mouth. Okay, so my idea is I love when it's kind of based off another question we play with each other of like, if you had an unlimited amount of money, like what would you get for yourself every day?
Okay.
And my answer is always flowers. Like I would want fresh flowers.
Gotcha.
So I would love to pay like $30 a month.
That's so much.
Okay, maybe not fucking that much. Justin, have you ever bought? You don't buy me flowers. You don't know.
I just bought you flowers for your birthday.
Okay.
Check the Instagram. I got receipts, as they
say.
say.
Have the receipt. We'll put We'll put the photo in the show
no,
notes.
I don't have the actual receipt. I threw that out, but I have the picture of the flowers.
So my idea, I would want to pay whatever, like pay an amount and have flowers delivered to me daily.
I think they already have this service.
Can you let me fucking finish?
Whoa,
oh my God.
So irritating.
So they would bring me flowers every day, and like it'd be flowers. You know, they're throwing flowers away.
Not even close to the mic.
And like you know, like even the grocery store flowers, where like even $10 a month, right? And like Tony's is gonna throw these out because they can't sell them. One of them's browning along the edges. Come give them to me, and I'll have them sitting on my thing. But
so
then
how often are you getting deliveries? Like
daily.
Once daily?
Daily. And here's my genius idea though, is like they could partner with one of those like Blue Apron like or you know food places, healthy food things, and they give you a little compostable box and you put your dead flowers in there, and then you can mail it, and then they use that to like grow their food.
It's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
I'm out. If I'm a shark, I'm out of this deal. I'm giving you the Kevin O'Leary.
What's your idea?
I think they offer this. Let me here. You patter for a second. Subscription flower delivery.
Yeah, but not like fresh flowers. Like I know that I can't afford that.
Yeah,
and it's like cutting back on the waste of like shit they're just throwing out.
Start a flower subscription. So, yeah, you pick your dates. You pick your collection.
How much is it per month?
I don't know. It just says on your schedule. It's Books. I've heard of Books. A Books subscription simplifies life when you want multiple deliveries each year for yourself as a gift. You can set up Books to arrive on a regular schedule, say once a month. That's pretty good. So I think it seems like you don't really get a discount. You would just pay whatever the flowers cost, but they would just auto deliver. But if you sign up for a subscription, now you get 20% off and free delivery. So I guess that would be the savings. So I'm just saying your answer was bad because it already exists.
Okay, what's your answer?
And your composting idea didn't add anything to it. I'm just messing with you.
How do you spell books?
No, we're not doing
I'm
it.
going to get it.
No,
out of my
absolutely
anger.
not. Do not put that computer down right now. You spell it B-U-T-T.
What's your
Go to butt.com.
What is your subscription idea?
All right, my subscription idea is I want a card.
Oh, books. Yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Hey, we have to make up. Come on.
Well,
I was just messing
tell
with
me
you.
your thing.
Your flower idea is very good. I don't love the composting part of it.
My flower idea is so good it's already a business.
I don't think that's what it means.
That is what it means.
I just think it's like I was more thinking again. Like I wasn't thinking like I think you still picked like a subscription service, whereas I was more thinking of like something that's but I guess meaning like.
You went more like you can pop in and get the thing.
Or I guess like delivery. I guess again, I think you went more towards like a trunk club, and I was thinking more like a movie pass or a Netflix or
where it's like unlimited sort of thing.
What else? Or the Starbucks one or the Burger King one. But whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to critique your answer.
Oh, you just spent 15 minutes doing that.
People that listen to this podcast already think I'm mean. So
they know you're mean.
Here's mine.
Okay.
So I get a card, right? And maybe it just works in Chicago. Maybe it works in Illinois. Maybe it works nationally. That would be my dream, but I'm willing to start small. I think this is a real thing that could work. It's the chicken card, and I can get for, let's say, $14.99 a month. I can get fried chicken anywhere.
Shaped like a chicken.
Shaped like a little chicken. And it's like a little drumstick. I could go to any fried chicken place in the city and get a 2-piece, one side, or the equivalent. You know, they can have some equivalent. 2-piece, one side, biscuit optional, or some sort of bread. That would be my thing. Or if that is not feasible, I would just take $14.99 a month, and I can get the 2-piece Tuesday deal from Popeyes for free 4 times a week.
Nice. Well, now that I'm thinking of it, daily flowers is a little too much.
It's way too much. It's insane. That's like queen shit. Like the queen everyone wants to murder because she's like too extravagant and we're all starving. Like that's like that. It's like mean queen shit. Like it's not even popular queen shit. That's like riddled with syphilis, not caring about the populous queen stuff.
There's a lot of holes in my plan, but it didn't deserve the hate you gave it.
I love when it comes back around. I always go too hard, but I'm right. And then the temperaments cool off, and then we can laugh about it. So everyone, if you're wondering the cycles of our relationship, that is that.
That is not that. Oh my gosh, it's just sad that's what you think it is.
Do you like my chicken idea?
Your chicken idea is good. Mostly I like the idea of like a little drumstick card you have in your wallet.
Right? That's why we work.
You would like have that in front of your ID.
Yes.
He's in the chicken club.
Yeah. Oh, like when you get pulled over by the cops and they like see that in your wallet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir.
You know you're part of the chicken club. So, so I want to start the chicken club. But like, if it can only be one restaurant, let's get Popeyes going on some sort of subscription. Even just like let me go, no sides, no biscuits. Even though they got bomb biscuits, let me go in for $19.99 a month. Let me go in once a day and just get a 2-piece, no sides, no biscuit, just 2 pieces of chicken.
And how much is it a month?
$19.99 a month.
Okay.
Once a day, 2 pieces of chicken.
Okay.
Let me do that, baby. And that's why I just sell to make $14.99, 2 pieces of chicken a day.
It is
once
sort of
a day.
Isn't there?
$19.99, you do get a side. So it's like you get that's the platinum level. That's the platinum. So if you get the $14.99 a month, it's a drumstick card.
Has like a little sheen on it.
Well, no, that's the $14.99 is the drumstick. For $19.99, you get the breast. You get the bigger piece of chicken. You get that big piece of chicken.
But it still is wallet size.
Still wallet size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can't swipe because it's weirdly shaped. So it's like a barcode system, I think would be good.
On the back.
Yeah.
In gold plated.
Probably some app integration. Apps are big.
Oh, yeah.
But the card is fun. Maybe even just like a little, like the little card you get for grocery stores that you put on your keychain and it just looks like a little piece of chicken. I think that could be pretty cool.
Just a chunk of chicken.
Just a chunk of chicken.
It kind of reminds me of the like gyms where you can like get a pass to like all the classes, but you're like on the opposite end. You want the chicken.
I want the chicken.
Yeah.
I eat so much fried chicken.
You do.
It's insane. If you count like chicken strips and nuggets and fried chicken, anything that's like chicken with breading and fried, or a fry equivalent process of cooking, I eat that so much. It is my favorite thing in the world. It's crazy. And I want a chicken club.
You should start chicken club.
Maybe I could.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of those things do get started third party.
I mean, is that already started though? You should check. There might be a Books of Chicken Club.
We just Google chicken club and then we can leave. Chicken club.
You're gonna get club sandwich
Yeah,
recipes.
that already came up. Let me just type in unlimited chicken. Unlimited chicken. 2 locations of Chicken Unlimited now serving. I think Chicken Unlimited is just the name of a restaurant. Yeah. Seems like there's a lot of... Seems like it's also pulling up some all-you-can-eat chicken wing.
But is there
things.
A gift card shaped like a chicken wing?
Probably not, but as is the failure of our society that we haven't produced that yet. But, you know, maybe
a solution to
maybe a candidate will run.
You can run on that platform.
Run on a chicken card for every American. We pay enough taxes. We should be able to get a chicken card.
Here's your choice.
What?
You either get tax breaks for not having a child, or you get to choose the chicken card.
I would take the chicken card. I would make way more money than the tax break. I would eat my way to a profit in chicken. All right, that's been the sode. I think we have done enough. We've talked about everything from the presidency to the internet to chicken. I've been Justin Golak. You can find me at justingolak.com. Got some shows coming up in Chicago at the end of the month. Check those out. Upcoming shows tab at justingolak.com. At Justin Golak on Twitter. Get at me. I get back. Justin at justingolak.com. Get at me there. I also get back. And as always, send them dick pics. Jackie Manti, JackieManti.com.
Yeah.
Go there. Tomorrow, there will be a show notes of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So go there, check that out.
We'll link to Books.
We'll link to Books, so you can waste your money there. And as soon as chicken card's available, we will link to it there as well. At Jackie.
Coming next from lowclass.com.
At Jackie _
Chicken Club.
Chicken Club. At Jackie _ Manti on the tweets. Hit her up. She'll probably hit back too.
Follow me on Instagram at Jackie Manti. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. That's how it feels.
Jackie at JackieManti.com. Send her them tit pics. And then so remember, as always, FemComPod.com. Lowclass.com. That's LO-class.com. We got this one in the books, J-Mant. How do you feel?
I feel like I need a hot shower, but good.
Why a hot shower?
I don't know.
That was weird.
People
say cold shower because they're horny, and then people say shower if they feel dirty. The phrase I feel like I need a hot shower
implies dirty. Like I feel dirty after this episode.
And then people just say I need to take a shower. They don't say hot shower.
Okay. Anything else?
No, just I want to correct that
like
before we. I want to correct that before we get off the air.
Okay.
But now I feel good. All right. Bye.